should have you now. Yeah, you should see my hand kind of in the way.
I'm going back to the trailer now.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, I ran out to check the other chair deck.
Gotcha. Yeah, it's because it says I'm sending video.
Okay, cool. And it said receiving video, so it should be. You're back.
Oh, sweet.
Okay, cool. All right, bye.
Bye.
All right, I want to welcome you here to the Shelbyville, Tennessee. We're here at the Cooper Steel Arena once again here for the Countdown to Pull Time Show, 5 o'clock start here, as we've got last night's big winner here in a super modified two-wheel drive, Wes Lusk with us, as well as son Paxton here, one of the youngest guys we've seen out in the hot rod tractor class. So thanks for joining us this afternoon, guys.
Glad to be here.
All right, well, Wes, we talked a little bit earlier about, how you got started. Tell everybody how you got started here in pulling here.
Oh, that's a long story.
Well, we got a little bit of time. All right, so back here with Wes Lusk. Wes, tell us how you got started here in pulling.
It's all from my dad, Danny. He got me into it as a kid. Just something for us to do together. Go out and have a good time. Started on some M Farmals, and we had a hot rod tractor class back in the day, and had to look like tractors, and worked our way up from there into getting bigger and better things. Pulled with Middle Tennessee Pulling Association, and pulled with KTPA for years. And then we took a break. I run a four-wheel drive truck there at the last. He run the single-engine tractor, and we took a break for a few years. And then when we got back into it, we really just went all in, I believe. Got a little crazy, and we're sitting here with two blower trucks, two Pro 4s, and two single-engine mod tractors. So I believe our belly's full with pulling equipment, but it's a lot of fun. Spend a lot of time with your friends and running around, meet a lot of great people. It's just a lot of fun competition. That's where we're at with it.
So how did the progression there with the two-wheel drives come along? Was that just one day you're like, they became available and said, hey, let's get involved in that class? Or were you guys kind of looking at that down the road like, hey, we're going to look, eventually go to this class?
So as far as the two-wheelers go, that was kind of Dad's dream. He wanted to run a blown two-wheel drive, had a lot of friends that was running them, and of course it's two-wheel drive pulling is got its differences, but it was something he was kind of used to with the way So back to getting started in two-wheel drive is Dad's dream, really. And Sullivan's put the T-Bucket up for sale, and I just really liked the way it looked. And, of course, I showed it to Dad, and the next thing I know, trip to Kentucky and back home, we're in the two-wheel drive pulling business. So a lot of things to learn with the blower motors, different from naturally aspirated engines, and we went through a lot of learning curves. I had a little trouble with the T-Bucket, and then come around the orange truck, and there it was, a nice piece. And we was in the process of fixing the engine on the T-Bucket, and we went ahead and got the orange truck. So that landed us with two blower trucks.
So there you go, full bore into the two-wheel drive class. Now, this is your second full season you're starting here in the two-wheel drive. You said you kind of ran a couple events at the end of the 23 season, and then you went full bore there 24 for your first full season in two-wheel drive.
Yeah. Right at the latter part of 23, we got the engine back, got it put in there, and got started. And then I ran the full season last year, and then it's Dad's. This will be his third season.
And so running on the TNT circuit throughout the summer, and then the indoor events. Now, how many of the indoor events have you done? I mean, is this you done the pull down in Lexington, or?
This is my first indoor with a blown truck.
Okay, so there you go. First time indoors, and you're a winner. So tell us about that run last night. It was a little bit tricky out there, and we've seen some of the veterans out there kind of figuring out how to work their way down the track. You kind of went down there, looked like an old pro.
Well, I call it pulling a rabbit out of the hat there. So just more or less when you're 14th hook and you sit there and study it out, and you're studying the track the whole time. Of course, knowing your piece of equipment, knowing where it's tuned and what to tune it, and what air pressure, where to move the weight, and filling the truck. Dad calls it filling it in your rear end. So filling it hook and then committing and hoping for the best and trying to pick a good path on the track. And it worked out as a team. Dad set the sled, and we had agreed on the side of the track that I'd run on last night, and I'd set the truck up the way I felt, and it worked out.
Yeah, absolutely, it did. Big victory last night. 213 feet, I think, was the winning distance last night, and had about 3 or so feet over second place. So very impressive run. Now we're going to bounce things over here to the next generation, as we've got Paxton over here. And Paxton, tell the folks at home how old you are, young man.
I'm 12, about to turn 13 in May. Born in 2012, and I'm born into a family of pulling.
Yeah, there you go. And we saw you last year over in Shelbyville, Tennessee, the event we did over there, and saying, hey, look at this guy out there pulling. And then we saw you last night. And how long you been pulling here in this class?
I've probably been pulling since last year. I started last year in, I'd say, late April, and started early May and got going with it.
And tell us how everything went during the summer there. And we saw had a little tough luck last night, but you're gonna make up for that tonight, right?
Yeah, I kicked the first season off with a few wins and a few losses, but it's a learning curve like last night. Just got to learn through it and think about it and just do better the next.
Yeah, that's awesome. That running this hot rod tractor class, and that very tough class. Now, you guys run the strictly the TNT circuit, or do you guys kind of go other places, or what other organizations run that class?
MTPA runs that class, and TNT. We're going to pull with both, and of course we pull with Mid-South as well.
So lots of pulling there throughout the summer, and more or less, do they run like the hot rod tractors with the two-wheel drives, where you're able to take all the vehicles to one pull, or are you kind of stretched out all over the place during the summer?
Stretched out all over the place. Between the four-wheel drives, the two-wheel drives, and the tractors, it's everything can't go to the same event. It's rare that all the equipment is at the same place. TNT does have the tractors and the blower trucks together, and of course with the MTPA, it's got the tractors and the Pro 4 trucks, no blower trucks. So yeah, it's kind of a mix-up, with what equipment we're taking where.
Yeah, absolutely. And 3 generations of the Lusk family pulling. And Paxton, I got to ask you, what are you looking towards? What's the the goal you'd like to pull eventually one day? What is the top class you'd like to pull in?
I like where I am at right now. I like the tractors. I'd like to pull a not blown four-wheel drive, but just a pro stock four-wheel drive truck one day. Try it maybe a few times and see how that goes.
Okay, not like a 4 Hemi unlimited tractor or something like that. No, you don't see that down the road.
That'd be cool, but it's a little too much for me. I just naturally aspirated stuff is what I like.
That's awesome. Well, good luck tonight, guys. Thanks for joining us here tonight on the Countdown to Pull Time show. And, two-wheel drive class. So you'll have 2 entries in that class, and then, of course, be in the hot rod tractor class a little bit later on here tonight. So once again, thank you for joining us here on the Countdown show, and good luck here tonight in session number 2, guys.
Thanks for having us, and we appreciate all you do for pulling.
All right. We'll see you guys in a little bit. All right, so once again, Paxton Lusk here and his dad Wes joining us here, the Countdown to Pull Time show here. And just a couple minutes here, we'll bring Jason Schultz in here, and we'll talk a little bit about last night's program. But tonight's show starting at 7 o'clock, we're going to run 5 classes once again here on the docket here for session number 2 here. We'll have the hot rod tractors, we'll have the light limited super stocks, the 2-wheel drives, super modified 4-wheel drives will be running, and then we'll round out the program with the lightweight 2-wheel drive class that'll end out the program here. So first time here in the good-looking Shelbyville, Tennessee Coliseum here, the Cooper Steel Arena, as the folks down here working on this track, and really held up good last night. Kind of threw the competitors a little bit for a loop out there, as we just talked with Wes. But nonetheless, going to have another great show here. And hot off the press, Jason's got the hot lineups here on who is where. And, we were talking about the show last night. Now, you were down trackside last night. I was up here. And we saw, especially 2-wheel drive class, we saw them, moving weight all over the place, and everybody kind of moving all over the track where to go. And what did you see down there?
I had a lot of, I've never been on a track that takes this much drivability in my life, but nobody was ever, mad or frustrated. It's like we all got to play on the same dirt, pull on the same track. I've already walked on it tonight a little bit. It feels firmer. I think they were able to air it out. They were already moving, disking it up last night or loosen it up. Dan's somebody to get down there and help dry it out. So, outside we deal with wind and sun and rain, but indoor like this, it's a different beast.
Oh, yeah.
And this is the first time they've ever worked with this dirt. So.
Yep. And you don't have, 340 feet to work with.
Right.
You got to make it happen in 200 feet. So
a lot of the driver interviews, Dan, I was asking them, because a lot of them were patient till 100 feet and knowing they're only going 230 before they got after it. And some of them that did open it up, they opened up a little too hard and they just spun out. And some of them that did, they were hooked, and then they were the ones that were able to carry that front end. I think it was Adam McFall in the 2-wheel drive mini class. He had the prettiest pass in the entire class, and he just picked that front end up and just carried it all the way down the track. And obviously, he basically rested his front tires right in the sand pile down there. So.
Yeah, so right now they're working on the track as we speak here, getting ready for tonight's program, 7 o'clock. And I think everybody pretty much survived night number 1. Usually that's we've seen that from time to time. We've had a little bit of a breakage, but
Dustin Bentley's not coming back. I didn't get the full lineups yet. I do have last night's results. So we'll cover those. But Dustin Bentley, remember that T-bucket?
Driveline, didn't he have something in the driveline?
And he said the RPMs went very, very high.
So
and he didn't want to take a chance down there. We're down there working on a truck down there as well right now. So, but again, I'm hoping for a bigger crowd tonight. First time they've had a truck and tractor pull here, I think, ever. So, the community's not used to an indoor truck and tractor pull here, but what a great event. It looks like we flipped the pulling order tonight. Whatever pulled last night's going to pull first tonight, and we're just going to keep jamming with it. It's going to be good stuff. So,
yeah, absolutely. We saw a great show last night. All the classes really put on a good show. We started with the hot rod tractors. They kicked things off last night, and I think we ran through 20 tractors
really fast.
Yeah, 45 minutes or something like that. We were moving them through pretty quick.
So tonight we have Conway Turley. He opens for Joe Nichols. He's coming down from Nashville. He's singing the national anthem tonight, so that's going to add a little bit of flair to it and things like that. So Larry Delfitt won the did I say it right this time, Dan? Okay,
yes,
good.
You got it right. Yes.
I butchered his name 3 times last night.
The Big Daddy Magic. Yes.
He won the 4-wheel drive trucks last night at 217.2. Steve Clem was 214.32. I'm going to open up the Full Pull Picks app right now. A lot of pullers that haven't been on the Full Pull Picks app asking a lot of questions about it, and I think this is a great opportunity to go through that. If you haven't created an account yet, head to fullpullpicks.com or the Full Pull app and simply create an account, and then you can go on there and you can make some picks. So the super modified four-wheel drive trucks, Dan, what we're going to do tonight is we're going to pick 2 to finish in the top 3. So if you wanted to look back at last night's results, we just put the games up a little bit ago, but right now, Big Daddy Magic and Steve Clem, who finished 1 and 2 last night, are the favorites.
Are the favorites, right? Absolutely.
And that would make sense. But Joey Alexander was at 211. He was the first hook of the class. Had a nice pass. You know, did what four-wheel drives do. Brian Corneliuson with Trailer Trash was at 210. So your top 4 trucks were within 10 feet of each other. And 10 feet sounds like a lot, but you and I know in pulling.
Oh, yeah.
That's a different spot on the track or a few more 100 RPMs or whatever. So. Justin Dews in the Why Not van was in 5th at 207. Rex Bennett was 206. Adam Bennett was 205 with Privilege, and then a dented low with About Broke, 203.85 down there. So, yeah, a good class of four-wheel drive trucks. We don't see this class, you and I, really anywhere else in the nation. I think, does OSTPA maybe have
They do have blower trucks, but they run the shorter wheelbase.
Okay.
They run the 130 wheelbase, which the old NTPA Grand National Circuit ran, where Larry Douthat's a former champion with the NTPA, but they ran the shorter trucks. So years ago, they used to run them actually together, the shorter trucks with the long wheelbase, but that has since kind of gone away there. And Ohio, like I say, they run the blower trucks, but they run the shorter wheelbases on them.
So what we can do here, Dan, is let's make some picks right now. So let's take the favorites from last night. I'm not afraid to do that, right? So we'll take Big Daddy and Radical.
So going to take the 2 favorites right away.
Just
We're
like
not
everybody else?
We're not going to take any long shots. No.
Well, let's do another one here.
All right.
So let's look at last night's results. I got those in front of us here. Give me a couple other ones other than Steve and
Well,
Larry.
let's go with the Why Not van.
Okay.
Of course, that's always
Very
a fan favorite right there. Yeah, we'll take that
only,
one.
like as you say,
The only van. Yes, a full-size van in Poland.
Yeah, the only van
right there.
in Poland. And give me one more.
Let's go with the Privilege truck there. Adam Bennett.
I like it.
We'll go with...
And we've just been told by our producer that we can talk over when they start the truck. So
Okay.
as long as you and I can hear each other, we're good to go.
Okay.
So super modified four-wheel drive trucks, that's set there. Again, congratulations to Larry Doffett, 217.7, your winner last night. Steve Clem, who obviously you talked about last night, won the farm show with his Pro Mod, as he called it last night, or I call it a modified 4x4.
Yes.
What is
naturally
the difference?
aspirated?
Naturally
That's
aspirated. Okay.
the difference between modified trucks are naturally aspirated, no supercharging, turbocharging allowed. The super modified trucks, they can run the blowers. Now some of the trucks like in Ohio there, they used to run kind of them all together. They're like a run what you brung, where you run the turbocharge. You run the diesels and kind of run it against everybody there. But we've got 3 classes that you'll be able to wager on here.
We added the light limited.
Light limiteds are on there. Okay.
With the original lineup that they'd given us, they had only listed 3 tractors, and I believe we have 7 actually light limited super stocks. So that allowed us to put a head-to-head together on that. So that'll be fun. And I would simply say Kevin Shingleton with the Kentucky Gambler had the wildest. He literally, when I walked into the sand pile down there, Dan, last night, his tires were at the absolute top of the sand pile.
You can still see his groove there on the left side. See the 2 marks right there? That's where he parked them front tires down there.
You've heard of Sand Angels. We're making tractors in the Sand Angels.
Yes, he landed her right on top of there and came back last in the class and did it again. So there's going to be your favorite right there in that class.
Yep. So we can do light limited super stocks. Kevin Shingleton, he was 228. Bob Evans was 219. So about 9 feet between first and second. So in our head-to-heads here, Dan, we got we picked who would do the best out of this group: the Kentucky Gambler, Mad Money Extreme, or the Stroker. We got to take him.
Got to take the Gambler, right?
And then in the other one, we got the Fence Row Fugitive, Steve Dye, all about the money and the grease money. So, who do you like there, Dan?
Let's see. I was going to say, that the Bob Evans track.
We're going to do a couple.
Okay, so we'll do. Let's do the Fence Row Fugitive.
Okay, Steve Dye had a good pass with his 560 last night.
Yes.
So we'll make those picks right now. Again, we're at fullpullpicks.com or the Full Pull app. And let's do another. So again, these are the head-to-heads. So what you're doing here, so out of the three, who will do the best between the Kentucky Gambler, Mad Money Extreme, and the Stroker?
Okay, so this time around we're going to go with that little Alice.
Okay, Bob Evans.
Yes.
And then out of the Fence Row Fugitive, All About the Money, and Grease Monkey, who do you like?
Let's go with the Agco, the All About Money.
Gotcha there.
So there we go.
That's
We're
Brad
going to go
Aldrich.
orange on that one.
Hopefully it pays green, Dan.
Yes, well, that's what we're hoping
That's
for.
what we're hoping. So, okay, our picks are in for the light limited super stocks. Again, shout out to Kevin Singleton, last night's winner. Bob Evans was second with Mad Money Extreme. And then Chase Carey, who also drives a two-wheeler as well, two two-wheelers, with the Stroker finished third. Steve Dye with the Fence Row. So they were really tight. Honestly, only Kevin really snuck one out there. And he was first took in the class, remember, went that 242, then they reset the sled.
Right.
I was worried because, he was so far in. I didn't know if maybe he bent something on the chassis, but he just smiled and came back and did it again.
Yep, and their other tractor, still in the shop,
Yes.
waiting on parts for that one.
Yeah,
So
that's his dad, Floyd.
Yep, Dad didn't get a chance to run last night.
What do you want to go to next?
Let's go two-wheelers.
Okay.
So we'll go.
So you had Wesley Lusk on here.
Yep.
Last night's winner of the Kryptonite, 213.71. That's a neat story. His dad, Danny, the Tennessee Wild Child. So the favorites in the two-wheel class, they let us down last night.
Yes.
From the full pull picks perspective.
Yes.
The favorites did not come out on top on that. So
What makes
that's
it
what
interesting.
fun.
Yeah, that's what makes it great.
And the games are up as well. So two-wheelers. So early on, look, Wesley Lusk is the favorite.
He's a favorite now. Yes.
He's pretty much 1-1 right now. Side piece, David Carlton had a good night.
He led
He
for.
was second first forever.
I was going to say about 75% of the class he led last night. Yep.
I interviewed him right after Wesley pulled, after he drove his Breathe Easy truck, and I said, I feel kind of bad because normally I like to interview people, but you just lost the lead. He goes, no, he was super happy because Breathe Easy was basically, everything was brand new but the steering wheel and the body.
Yep.
So he was happy. I heard a lot of, I get a play again tomorrow night. A lot of comments like that last night, Dan. Monkey Business, Chase Carey's 2-1. Youngblood, Brian Stevens is 1-1. And the field pick, right now the field's at 1-1. So there's a lot of field picks. And what the field is, you're basically selecting the field. And old Chase Richardson with suffering Kennedy's in the field.
Yes.
So I think that's where we're going to see that a little bit. And I don't know if Boogie Woogie's going to make it back tonight. Stephen Poor, do you see it sitting down? Yep. Still got his hood
Sitting
up.
over there, yeah.
Hopefully they're going to make a pass tonight. Eddie Wiley with hopefully they got all their fuel lines tightened up from last night. So
got them covered up over there. They're ready to go.
Down there. So yeah, two-wheel drive. So your top three again last night, fans. Wesley Lusk, 213 with Kryptonite. David Carlton with the side piece at 210, and then David Poor, one last shot at 208.94. So Dan, who do you like here? Let's make a couple picks here.
All right, so let's go in the let's go
We're picking
with this
two
pick
to
here.
finish in
Let's
the top
go with
three.
a Papa Bear.
Okay, Papa Bear. So we're going to go Trent Glover with Papa Bear.
Actually, I think Larry's going to drive it tonight.
Larry, that's fine. It's a truck that counts.
Yep.
And then who else do you like?
Let's go with Bumper Crop.
Bumper Crop. Cole Altman.
There we go. We're going to take some.
And we'll do one more here. The field was good to us last night, Dan. The field was good to us last night. So I want to do a field pick for sure. There's some big names in there. We know it's going to be a crapshoot, but it was way more of a crapshoot last night. Nobody had ever been here before.
Right.
know,
Everybody's
and,
kind of got an idea of what to expect out there for night two.
So I'm going to grab this field, and then I'm going to grab. I'm going to go Youngblood, Brian Stevens.
Okay.
And we'll put that out there. So that Triple Threat Motorsports team, they should have triple the data.
Well,
if you do the math on it.
Double threat tonight, right?
Double threat. Yeah.
Double threat tonight.
Yep.
We're down one,
Dustin's
but
not hooking there. So again, tough truck, tough class here. We'll have the lineups here for you tonight. And again, fans, a lot of people like to know the pulling order. We're flipping it. So mini trucks are tonight. Then the super modified 4-wheel drives, right? And
number two wheelers will be third again.
Okay.
They don't change. And then we'll go with the light limiteds, and then the hot rods will fill us out here tonight.
I should have took a picture. I was down there in the room, and I forgot to do that. So let's go to the V8 hot rod tractors. Dwayne Kurtzinger was your winner last night with the Born Ready. 15 feet on the class. Now, that was the first class of the night, and the track really was still kind of slick or a little wet, and it really took them to get figured out. But he did tell me flat out his tractor does better on shorter tracks.
Right.
So, we've seen that. There's some competitors, they just have a faster gear, and if they can let them run over 340, 350 outside, it's hard to catch them, like Colin Ross.
That was a 540, too. I mean, they're allowed up to 600, and that tractor there, 540, so the lower, smaller cubic inch is really getting hooked up here, and he put it on him last night. Good run.
So it's tuned in and doing a really good job there. So hot rod tractors, again, we have you pick two to finish in the top three. So The Riddler, John Carter, is an early favorite. Wrecking Havoc, Connor Whiting's an early favorite at 1-1, basically. Super Chevy, is it Mike Aber? Am I saying that right? Aber?
Yeah,
okay.
Aber, yep.
He's 5-1. Misfit, Mark Fryman's 5-1. And Born Ready, Dwayne Kurtzinger, last night's winners, 1-1. Then we have some field picks as well there, too, Dan. So who do you got there?
I'm going to go with Mr. Chevy.
Mr. Chevy?
We'll go with Mr. Chevy. We'll go with
Randy Aber. He's
Randy.
14-1 right now. And who would you want? Who's your second? Who else do you think will finish in the top 3?
Let's see. I'd say let's go with Fryman. Fryman's
Fryman?
always the misfit there.
He likes to dance. We just got to see him dance. His sponsor,
I think he was
Linda
down
Lee,
towards the bottom.
is
There
Eagle
he is.
Pick. Misfit. Next. Again, I'm on the Full Pull app or fullpullpicks.com. Confirm that, and I'm going to go do one more. Let's do one more pick here, Dan. Let's see. I'm going to go Jonathan Carter and the Riddler. I like that. And then I'm going to grab the field pick and see what I can do there with the field. There's some heavy hitters in there. We saw these tractors run, you and I, down in Sevierville, Tennessee.
Yep,
So
they're also
excited to do
Lexington.
that.
Saw them Lexington there just about a month and a half
So
ago.
getting to know all these names a little bit more. But again, Dwayne Kurtzinger last night goes number 1, Dan, with Born Ready at 217. Randy Aber, who you picked tonight, 202. And then Wrecking Havoc. Connor Whiting, remember, Connor had the second hook, I think after the sled reset, and he turned it down. Sat right there next to me pretty much all night. We were down there interviewing and came in.
And I think if he wouldn't have turned it down, he would have finished up second.
Okay.
He wouldn't have won it, but he would have finished
Instead of
number
third?
2. I think he was a foot further on his, but real consistent run
And
there for, hey.
Yeah, and I think, honestly, he's thinking, hey, I think this track's going to get better. And at that point in the night, I don't think anybody would had disagreed with that thought
Absolutely,
at all. So.
right.
And then the two-wheel drive mini trucks will be the first class tonight. Adam McFall, last night's winner, killing time. Again, I feel had honestly one of the prettier passes of the night out of all the classes, besides honestly Shingleton's first pass there that first time. But he was your winner last night at 222. Ben Cooper with the green machine. It is really green, Dan.
It is
got
green. Oh, yeah.
Green neons, everything. And then Ricky Clark with the Hulk. And Ricky had 2 trucks in there last night. The Hulk and I think
And the Rattler, right?
Yep.
Yeah, little Rattler, I think was his other one.
So
yeah, they're not.
good to go there.
They won't be on the app. You
Nope.
won't be able to wager anything on the mini trucks, but they're going to start the program off here tonight. A class that you really don't see a whole lot
really anywhere else in the country. And they get a pull with sounds like 3 or 4 different organizations down here. Kentucky has many pulling associations.
Yes.
I know
and
we're in
two-wheelers.
Tennessee. Yes.
And two-wheelers.
Oh,
You
yeah,
know,
good.
they were. That's where they were born down
Okay.
here in Kentucky. So.
When you look at the track, Dan, as we sit up here, you have a great view at the starting point. Did you see a certain line last night? I saw it from left to I think people were searching for gold.
It's still up to the last pull of the night. They were still moving it all over the place. So, yeah, there was no – I mean, we know, in the two-wheel drive class, Wes's run was over there right of center.
Yep.
Is where he found gold down there. But, like I say, everywhere else, it was – you name it. Yeah. They were all over the place. So, really was no favorite place to go out there. And, like I said, I'd look for a little bit better track here tonight, second night, to let it dry out a little bit. And
it even looks drier from sitting up here. You can see a couple lanes in there where it's a little more dry, a little more moist, and we might see a little bit more in the sled not moving as much tonight. But I don't think we're going to see any repeat winners. Nothing against anybody last night.
Okay, all right.
I'm just telling you from experience.
We're going to hold you to this, right? We're going to hold you to this.
I just feel like everybody got their chance last night. I think you're going to see people maybe move more weight back than they should. I think the track's going to take a little bit more power tonight, and we might see some wild rides from that. But it's a guessing game, and that's truly what makes the sport of truck and tractor pulling fun. No practice, right?
You got
get
it.
One shot.
No practice, no qualifying, right? You
Yep.
go out there and you give it one shot, and hopefully you got everything right. And, everybody's out there watching everybody run. Everybody's watching where you're putting your weights. And,
Right.
We've seen over the years, fake weights and everything. Everybody trying to, make their way out there. And, hey, what we have, and we want nobody to know about it. But, yeah, it's going to be a great show.
It is. So, Dan, one question for you. Out of the 5 classes here, if one of the not a particular vehicle, but if you could drive a vehicle in one of the classes tonight, and they gave me your microphone to announce for you while you drove, are you going to drive a 4-wheeler, a 2-wheeler mini?
I think one of them blown 4-wheel drives.
One of the
That'd be
blown
neat.
4-wheel drives.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think that'd be neat.
What are we going to name it? You going to name it, too, tonight?
I don't know. We're going to I have to think about that one.
Like mayonnaise. Like mayonnaise. Like take your last name, Mayer,
I
and
didn't.
add the names.
That was not my nickname. Thank goodness
what
for
was your
racing.
nickname in racing?
I was the Mara Faster
Mara Faster.
from Lancaster.
The Mara Faster from Lancaster. I love it.
I didn't like that. That was pretty cheesy, but
Oh,
yeah,
shoot.
that was That was years ago, yes.
Good deal.
Many years ago. But, yeah, going to be a great show. 7 o'clock
Yes,
start
sir.
time.
We're going to go live on the live stream at 6:30. It'll be free on Full Pull Facebook and Full Pull YouTube for about 15 or 20 minutes during the pull. And then I always see a comment, well, where did the live stream go? We do that to tease you because we want you to come and purchase a subscription to the greatest motorsport on earth.
And, let's talk about all the great things we got going
Yeah.
here, Full Pull Live. We've got, going to have the retro, the vintage
Yep.
footage coming up here in the next month or so. We're going to have a Legends series that we're going to work on for, get some of those going here by the end of, I would say, probably April time or so.
Okay.
And then from April, we're going to be just about every weekend.
Yep.
We're going to have something going on. So
Awesome.
$39.99 will get you all that action. And,
Yes, sir.
you can watch it anytime you want. We're all out pulling, so
Yep.
you get back on Sunday, Monday, you can turn it on and pause
and
it
roll.
wherever you want. Yeah, you name it. So
I love it. Well, thanks for watching, everybody. Be sure to go follow TNT Truck and Tractor Pull on Facebook and Instagram. Follow Full Pull on all the social media platforms: Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, and Instagram. And again, excited to have Conway Turley tonight, a Nashville artist, coming to sing the national anthem. So that's
Yes,
pretty cool.
get
And,
us rolling.
There's already more people rolling in. Saturday nights are good. You and I went to Murfreesboro. We didn't live stream that, but the Friday night crowd was a little light, and that place was packed Saturday
On Saturday night. So
I'm
hoping,
hoping the same thing for our promoter here. This Cooper Steel Arena is the real deal. It's got a facelift. Travis, the manager here, is great. I think all the pullers have had a good time. And at the end of the day, we want to go truck and tractor pulling. And anytime a promoter will step up and help us like this, we are good to go. So life is good.
Yeah, 7 o'clock. We'll see you all back here, Full Pull Live, and we'll get things rolling.
Back to you in the trailer.